What's going on, rugby fans, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the home of Springboks rugby news, analysis, and everything green and gold. We're here to bring you all the latest updates, breaking news, team selections, and insider information about South African rugby. Before we dive into today's absolutely massive stories, I need you to do me a huge favor. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. We're building an incredible community of passionate boks supporters here, and I want you to be part of it. Also, if you enjoy today's content and find value in what we're discussing, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to bring you even more quality Springboks content. And here's the thing. I know you've got friends, family members, colleagues who are just as passionate about the boks as you are, so do them a favor and share this video with them because what we're covering today is absolutely huge. We're talking about major changes to the international rugby calendar, historic tours, and significant shifts in team selection that are going to shape the future of South African rugby. Trust me, you don't want to miss any of this, so let's get into it. All right, so the first bombshell that's dropped in the rugby world is something that's going to have massive implications for the Springboks and all Southern Hemisphere rugby nations. SANZAAR has officially announced that the Rugby Championship will not be taking place in 2026. Now, let me repeat that because it's such a significant development. The Rugby Championship, the tournament that has been the cornerstone of Southern Hemisphere rugby, bringing together the Springboks, the All Blacks, the Wallabies, and Los Pumas every single year, is being paused for an entire season. This is unprecedented in modern rugby. The tournament has been running consistently since it began as the Tri-Nations back in 1996. And even when it expanded to include Argentina in 2012 to become the Rugby Championship, it never missed a beat. So why is this happening now? Well, according to SANZAAR, this pause is part of a much broader reshaping of the international rugby calendar. World Rugby has been working on rebalancing the global schedule for years now, trying to create more coherence and fairness in how Test rugby is structured across both hemispheres. There have been ongoing discussions about player welfare, the length of seasons, the number of Test matches, and how to create more commercial opportunities while still maintaining the integrity of the game. For the Springboks specifically, this pause has enormous implications. The Rugby Championship has been absolutely crucial to their annual competition structure and preparation rhythm. It's where they test themselves against the best teams in the Southern Hemisphere, where they build momentum, where they fine-tune their game plans, and where they develop combinations and give players valuable test match experience. Without the Rugby Championship in 2026, the entire year looks completely different for the boks. Their usual rhythm of preparing for the championship, playing those intense back-to-back matches against New Zealand, Australia, and Argentina, all of that goes away. So the obvious question becomes, what will the Springboks do instead? How will they maintain their competitive edge? How will they keep their players sharp and match fit? And this is where things get really exciting, because the answer to that question might just be the most thrilling development in South African rugby in decades. Enter the All Blacks. In what can only be described as a masterstroke of rugby scheduling and a gift to rugby fans everywhere, New Zealand's national team is embarking on an old-style tour of South Africa in 2026. And when I say old-style tour, I mean a proper, traditional, multi-week tour like the ones we used to see back in the golden era of rugby. We're talking about the All Blacks coming to South Africa for an extended period, playing not just against the Springboks, but also against South African provincial sides. This is huge on so many levels. The centerpiece of this tour is going to be a 4-test series between the Springboks and the All Blacks. 4 tests. Let that sink in for a moment. We're going to get 4 full international matches between these two rugby giants in a single year, all played on South African soil. When was the last time we saw something like this? This is the kind of series that older rugby fans remember fondly from the days when tours meant something different. When teams would spend months in a country, when they would play midweek matches against provincial teams, when the entire rugby community would be engaged for weeks on end. This tour has already been branded as rugby's greatest rivalry, and honestly, that's not hyperbole. The history between the Springboks and the All Blacks is the stuff of legend. These two teams have been battling each other for over a century, and their matches consistently deliver some of the most intense, physical, and skillful rugby the sport has ever seen. From the epic battles of the amateur era to the modern professional clashes, from the heartbreak of narrow defeats to the glory of famous victories, this rivalry has given us countless memorable moments. Now we're getting 4 opportunities in a single year to add to that legacy. The fact that the All Blacks will also be playing provincial sides is incredibly significant. It means that South African rugby at all levels gets to test itself against the best team in the world. Provincial players will have the opportunity to showcase their skills on a massive stage, and the All Blacks will get a real sense of the depth and quality of South African rugby. This is exactly the kind of tour that modern rugby has been missing, and it's going to be absolutely spectacular. From a strategic standpoint, this tour perfectly fills the void left by the paused Rugby Championship. Instead of spreading their test matches across the usual championship format, the Springboks get a concentrated, high-intensity series against their greatest rival. The commercial implications are enormous as well. 4 Springboks versus All Blacks tests in South Africa are going to generate massive interest, huge crowds, and significant revenue for South African rugby. But beyond the money, beyond the spectacle, this is about restoring something that's been lost in modern rugby. It's about bringing back the sense of occasion that came with those old tours. About creating a rugby event that captures the imagination of an entire nation for weeks on end. Now, while we're looking forward to these epic battles in 2026, there's important news happening right now that's shaping the immediate future of the Springboks. Head coach Rassie Erasmus has recently announced his touring squad, and the selections he's made are speaking volumes about the direction he's taking this team. Rassie has never been one to shy away from making bold decisions, and this squad announcement is no exception. What we're seeing is a clear indication that some veteran players, guys who have been stalwarts of South African rugby for years, who have won World Cups, who have given everything for the green and gold, are reaching the end of their international careers. At the same time, we're seeing younger players being elevated, being given opportunities, being integrated into the squad in meaningful ways. This is transition in action, and it's exactly what successful rugby programs do. They plan for the future while still competing in the present. Rassie Erasmus has always been a coach who thinks strategically about squad building. He understands that you can't just wait until your veterans retire and then panic about who's going to replace them. You need to be constantly developing the next generation, giving them exposure to the international game, letting them learn from the experienced players while those players are still around. The squad selections show that this process is well underway. The younger players coming through aren't just there to carry bags and watch from the sidelines. They're genuine contenders for starting positions, they're players that Rassie believes in, and they're the foundation of what the Springboks will look like in the next World Cup cycle. For fans, this evolution is bittersweet. We've watched these veterans achieve incredible things. We've celebrated their victories, felt their defeats, and formed deep emotional connections with them. Saying goodbye is never easy, but rugby moves on, and the emergence of new talent is also incredibly exciting. These young players represent hope, potential, and the future glory of South African rugby. So there you have it. 3 massive stories that are reshaping the landscape of Springboks rugby. The pause in the Rugby Championship, the historic All Blacks tour, and the squad transition under Rassie Erasmus. Each of these developments is significant on its own, but together they paint a picture of a sport in evolution and a team that's preparing for an exciting future. Make sure you drop a comment below and let me know what you think about all of this. Are you excited about the All Blacks tour? What do you make of Rassie's squad selections? I want to hear your thoughts. And remember, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this video with your fellow rugby fans. We've got so much more Springboks content coming your way, and you don't want to miss a single moment. Until next time, go Bokke!